Okay, let's get this party started. Any day now, I should be able to take off. I'm not sure when exactly that's going to be still because I'm still waiting on my license. But Riley's here, and we've been working so hard, but we've also been taking these little mini adventures, and it's been great. With that said, I need to get my van ready, and I've kind of been tackling some of the harder subjects. Along the way, I fixed my curtain. I addressed changing out my entire layout. I have been worried about integrating my personal style as well as just adventure wear because of the kinds of adventures I'm going to be going on. And I'm trying to make sure that I am ready for both winter travel and spring travel, which can be kind of hit or miss around the country, especially with the variables of the wild weather that's been going on as of late. All those things are done. So now it comes down to me loading my actual clothes into the van and then also figuring out where a few smaller things kind of are going to live. I'm going to be very excited whenever I actually do hit the road because I feel like of all the trips I've taken back to Texas as of late, this has been one of the more constructive ones when it comes to changing everything. And it all stemmed from not being able to open my back doors and trying something out that I decided that I liked and kind of modifying it a little bit. This guy right here, that's the mod. I brought it back and I love it and it's awesome and it's making me so much more organized already than I was on my last trips. But when you change one thing in a van, everything has to change. And so all of the things had to move to different locations. I bought a new organizer to help me out with some of that. And now I'm just trying to figure out where exactly I need the final things to go. Now, earlier today, I was really kind of looking through the van and doing my checklist. I know for a fact I have everything that I now need put into one section of my living room ready to come outside. So I went ahead and brought some of it out and I'm going to place it in its final place. And yesterday, I took a little bit of time to go ahead and put the things that go up on the roof box up there. You know, my camp table, my camp chair, my camp rug if I choose to use it, my extra clothes. I have my solar panels up there. I have all the things that I need, but I don't need every single day that live up on the roof. They're my bulkier items. Like these things right here. Originally, I was going to place these in my refrigerator because that's where ultimately they live. But I think to start out this journey, I'm actually going to put these on the shelf where they have a home as well. So the larger two of them fit right up against this wall along with my reusable bags. And the smaller two can fit right in this little slot right here, like this. That's perfect. And then they have a spot where they won't fall out. I also had this. This is a lightweight sun shirt that has long sleeves, and so I'm going to be using this just on occasion whenever it's cool outside but not cold. And so instead of packing this away where I could use it only sometimes, I'm instead going to put it up here with my green jacket because the green jacket's very lightweight and this will be also lightweight, so it won't be too much for this tiny hook. I have learned over time that just being flexible with your layout and kind of looking at the situation from a variety of different standpoints is super helpful. And so finding simple solutions for stuff like this that I'm going to use every day, but that might not necessarily need to be in like my personal bed, for example, it's really great. It keeps it out of the way, but at the same time accessible without having to crawl up onto the roof or dig around in a bin. And again, jackets are a perfect example of this. And as the season changes, I can always take these down as I don't need them anymore and store them up on the roof as it gets warmer, and then put other items which might be a little bit more useful there. And I really like that I've kind of fashioned my van journey so that I can have that flexibility of rotating my items the way that I have. For example, in my van, I'm going to be packing all of my clothes into my tiny little shelf over here along this area. And I have a lot of clothes, so they're obviously not all going to fit. But I put some in a dry bag and I throw them up on the roof, and then I can bring them down whenever I need them. So in my current setup, I have the things that I'm going to most need. For example, my hiking pants, a few pairs of leggings, and then a couple of comfortable pairs of pants that I could wear in any scenario. And then I have the other stuff like that up there. So I can just take the ones that are dirty, rotate them into the dirty bin, bring down new ones, refill, and then whenever I find a laundry, I can kind of sort through and figure out which ones I want in the van so that I don't have to wear the same thing every day. And I know that's not for everybody, and there's a lot of people out there who are very minimal, but for me, I like to express myself through my clothing and always have, and this is a good way for me to be more minimal than I usually am, but at the same time not minimal. Does that make sense? I'm going to go ahead and just bring this out and kind of fluff it up here, and I'm going to hang this on the hook like right with this one, and I'm going to release this piece of Velcro and pull this one off put this one on and then tighten it down with this little loop right here so it holds both the jackets in place. And then I'll take that little piece of Velcro that I have and I'll loop it around both of them so it holds it tighter so it doesn't end up getting all fluffy and out all over the place. Now, for those of you who are interested in figuring out how I decided what I was going to take with me, I have an entire video of what I'm packing and kind of how I decided to pack my fancy bin. And then always I have shirts like these for Mountain House, which I represent as an ambassador, and then also my shirts that I represent my own brand with, along with several pairs of leggings that just kind of are my everyday things that you guys see here on the channel. But that video is very insightful, so you can kind of see the method to my madness, and I think it'll be helpful to you guys for understanding why just a little bit more. But for now, I'm going to move this pillow out of the way, which actually holds some of my items in here. This one holds my sheet and one of my blankets, and it just is a really nice way to keep a good comfy pillow in here during the day, but serves a purpose at night. I'm going to move this out of the way and I'm going to start loading in this shelf with my clothing. I have one bin that is pretty tall and full. It has pants in it, so I'm going to go ahead and take these couple top pairs of pants off until I get it in here. These are just some hiking pants. And what I like to do is put this in and then pull it from the back and then push it to the side. I've got them all in place. I put my t-shirt organizer here, the pants on top, and that part's done. Now, every single thing I carry has to have some kind of purpose. And so I have this little bag right here that I keep with me because it's something that I can use whenever I'm having my fancy time where I don't want to just carry my sling bag. My sling bag is very nice, but it's more athletic. And so this gives me an option that's a little more dressy. And so this is always living here, but it doesn't just live here and then hang out. It also has to store things. So in this front pocket, I keep my stickers and my business cards. And in this pouch, I keep things that are smaller that I don't necessarily need all the time, but that I do actually need and might have like strange packaging. So this makes it easier for me to get to it, but it's out of sight, out of mind when I don't need it. And this tucks away nicely in this corner so I can get to it. But at the same time, I don't have to use it every single day. Because every little bit counts, under the seat, I will also have some things like my security light, and then also I'm going to have my safety kit. But this is a great place for my cook stove to also live. So it's going to actually squish right under here. It fits very snugly, and it's a little interesting getting it in there, but it's there. And then after that, I can put this kind of on top, and I can actually slide this here first. So it's able to be accessed. This might actually go up in the front. This could be easier to use if I put it in the other carrier. I'm not sure. I definitely know these two things I want to keep together, but this one, oh, this has always lived under my seat. I don't know if it needs to live under my seat now though. Of course, the new seat organizer is the home for many things. I've talked about this a little bit on the channel. I still need to bring out the makeup kit, which just straps in. And then I have a fanny pack that goes down here that will hold some of my other equipment. There have been so many changes over the course of my van. I have a 2020 MV200, so I've now moved into year 4 of having this van. And in doing so, I started off with a no build, which just had all the things that I already was using through my camping adventures. And they were just an expanded space because I started out traveling in my tiny car and tent camping. But then I decided that I needed to do some other things to make it a little bit easier. And so we built a bed platform that was a static bed, because one of the things that I said from the beginning was I did not want to have to make my bed every single day like I do now. I didn't want to have to bring it out and do the most. But that's mostly because I had been tent camping where every single day I would have to create and destroy my tent from the day previous, and it just was overwhelming. Now that I'm here 4 years, I'm kind of okay with just bringing out my bed because it does add a lot of extra space and comfort, and so this layout is actually working out really well for me. Before, I wouldn't have been able to do most of the things that I am now currently doing in the van because I just didn't have the layout for it. I had some great underbed storage, but that was all dependent on me being able to get to it using the back doors. And well, we all know I'm not supposed to open and close the back doors because they still have not been fixed. And I know everyone is so supportive and saying, oh, it should have already been done, and giving lots of suggestions. I have spoken to insurance. We're still on track for getting this done. The back order is just a real thing. And unfortunately, doors themselves, because of the way it has to be covered, are just harder. So it's fine. I'm okay with it. And even though I was initially very frustrated by the process, I've just kind of sunk into it and seen it now as a blessing, because if I wouldn't have decided to go with this layout, I would have never ever had the opportunities that I am now having. And so overall, was it a big bummer? Kind of? Yeah, it kind of was. But instead of being upset by it and continuing to just like stew on it, I made the most of it. And guess what? Now we're living our van life just a little bit different, and I'm not mad at it. I really like this layout a lot. With that said, I need to put my pillow back. There's a big open hole. It doesn't look right. It looks weird to me. Slightly better. Still not great. I need to straighten all this out. I've just been working. It's fine. Okay, putting my shoes back on and going and grabbing some more stuff. Okay, I have my organizer that goes in the front. This is just something that I found at Walmart in like the RV section. I keep bear spray, oxygen, a mosquito repellent thing in there, hot hands, fire starters, my window covers. Pretty much everything is in here, including my water shoes that I need. And I can easily access like my headlamp, a flashlight, all those things. So this is a nice just catch-all that keeps all of these things kind of together, and it sits in the front. So I need to move some things around. Repacking my toilet so it can have all my supplies. I already have some large bags, which basically make my own double duty bags. And so what I'm gonna do is put my poopery in here. I just usually, if I have to use the restroom, I just spray this because this gets rid of the scent. And then I scoop with this, one little scoop of this into the bag. And then we have a bag. These are just scented small bags. And so you just put them on, use the restroom, and then you put them in this, and it's able to be disposed of properly then, just like a double duty bag. So the bags all go in here along with the poopery, and then the scoop goes in here, and then it gets into this little thing right here. Okay, this is what I have. The fridge can actually vent. It has openings on the side that it is not covered on. And then on the side here, there's a gap. And then on the back, it's gonna be wide open. And so then I have my ladder and my Reflectix. All this stuff fits. I don't love how this is, and eventually I'm going to figure this out differently. But for this trip, this is how I'm going to be traveling. Unfortunately, there's just some larger items that don't have a great place without the static bed, so that's one of the downfalls. The ladder used to live where my bed met my door back here, but I can't put it back behind there because it pops out too much, and then it makes my bed sit really uncomfortably. I've already tried. So that doesn't work. The Reflectix technically could live back there, but I use them up here, so it doesn't really make any sense to do that. So I just kind of keep everything together, and then I will cover the items so that nobody can see them. I don't love this. This is the one thing that I really wish was set up a little bit differently in my van, but in order for me to have the things that I have to have, it's just kind of how it is. It's really kind of obnoxious. So while I'm driving, it'll look like this, and then whenever I'm at like a parking lot, I'll just drape it over the ladder, or set the Reflectix on top of it and then drape it. I'm not sure yet. I haven't quite decided yet. I also decided that because the Reflectix are here during the summertime, since the refrigerator is going to live in this section for now at least, I can put the Reflectix on top of it, and that will insulate it a bit better, and also it'll allow it more breathing room because I can move the ladder over just a little bit. So that part's done. Back inside I go, and I'm gonna have to clean off this mat for sure after, but I need to put away these few things. Cord wise, I have a few of the cords that I was using in the van that are my plugs for when I use my shore power, and I want to keep those where I can access them. However, I think that I need to put them in something, so I'm not sure if that's going to be in this organizer or if it's going to be somewhere else. I need to make sure that I have a fridge plug-in available. I do. Okay, I need to make sure that the cord is not under the fridge because that's not good. And this one is the one that I use to charge while I'm driving down the road. So I'm going to inspect all these cords, and that will be the last thing that I put in place is all the power stations. I don't like to put power stations or any kind of like electronics in the van until I'm ready to go, with the exception of like the fridge. So everything else is pretty good. I think I'm good to go. It's kind of wild in here. I don't necessarily know yet where everything is going to feel right. So this is kind of me discovering as I go. But the things that I put in place seem to make sense. The shelf right here with the food definitely is going to be handy. I still have one more item cooking wise that I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. It's the other Ridge Monkey. And I may have to put it on that top shelf. And if I do, the thing that I normally put on my top shelf will not be able to go there. And I'm just going to have to be okay with it. It's not going to be my favorite, but I'm just going to have to be okay with it because I definitely want to take the Ridge Monkey. And I think in 35 square feet, one of the things I've learned is sometimes you can't take everything that you want because it just doesn't fit. And I would rather have quality cooking on the road this trip because we're really going to focus on trying to like slim down our budget by cooking foods and also just enjoying ourselves at camp a little bit more. And so I may not be able to take the other thing. Choices must be made. And those choices mean I'm going to have to make some hard decisions. And I don't love that. But at the same time, I completely understand that that's just part of it sometimes. And anytime that you change something, you're going to have to be flexible to the things that could be affected by that. Losing the underbed storage meant that my storage had to change drastically. And sure, I could carry all the same stuff if I wanted to, but I would feel like my van is no longer a space of comfort. And for me, a space of comfort means that I don't have to look at everything all the time. I like that. I like having the things that I need accessible, but not feeling overwhelmed in the space, like the space is living me as opposed to me living in the space, if that makes sense. So there's some tough choices that I have to make over the next however long it is till ever we get to depart. But with those choices will come a lot of freedom of adventure, and I'm okay with that, I think. There's a few things that I definitely could see being points of change in the future, and I like to keep an open mind. So as I exist in my space, I will see if those things really do become deal breakers to me, and if they do, then, well, next time I come to base camp, I'll try to figure them out. I already know that front seat is going to be one of those things. But who knows? Maybe it won't be as bad as I think it is. We'll see. Only time can tell. Remember, guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. I've enjoyed sharing all of the journey of getting my van ready, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing just the many parts that go into it and how I think and why. I think that whenever we take a step back and start to look at things in the bigger picture, it helps us to understand how that we can make our quality of life better, even in a tiny space like mine. But, you know, not everybody's going to be in such a small van. So if you're in a bigger van, these might not be struggles. I don't know. But I've had a good time sharing these things, and I'm hoping that sooner rather than later we're taking off. But cross your fingers on that. We're still waiting. Till next time, guys. Bye!